Have you ever heard about the UWI Moot Competition? Yeah, apparently it's a competition encouraging debating in secondary schools. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. We have Miss Afia France with us. She is a lecturer in the Faculty of Law. Yes. And we also have Miss Vrishni Maharaj, who is a member of the winning team for the last competition that they had.
Yes.
Good morning and welcome, ladies.
Good morning.
How are you? How was the trip to Port of Spain?
It wasn't bad for me. I'm from Maraval, so it was about 10 minutes.
And Vrishni is from Naparima Girls High School.
Yes.
So how was that for you?
Well, that was down in south, so the traffic was, you know, a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
But
I face it all the time, so I understand where you're coming from. So, Ms. Afia France, I want to start with you. Tell us about the Moot Competition.
Well, the Moot Competition is an aspect of our EU grant project where we, the Faculty of Law, have obtained the grants from the EU, and we are all about strengthening Trinidad and Tobago's human rights capacity through innovative legal education. So we have 2 years to deliver this project, and we had a brainstorming team among my co-technical lead, Timothy Afonso, myself, my dean at the faculty, Rosemary Bell Antoine, and our 2 other co-leaders, Keisha Garcia and Omar Mohammed. And Timothy Afonso came up with the idea that we have this secondary schools mooting competition where we would invite attorneys in the legal profession to train secondary school students to produce both written memorials and make oral arguments in a moot court, which is essentially a pretend court. The students did excellently. We've had 13 participating schools. 13 teams. Mm-hmm. A few less schools because Hillview sent 5 teams. Northgate sent 2 teams. And each team had 2 participants. And either a team represented the applicant, who was an NGO representing a child whose human rights were violated, or the state, who represented the state. And they basically had to argue before the court about human rights issues. Our finals were very prestigious. We had actual High Court judges come to judge the finals, and they were very, very impressed by our students.
And the school from South, Naparima Girls, won that competition. How was it for you?
I must say that this opportunity was one that I'm certainly very grateful for. To be honest, when people saw me at the competition, they said, "Oh, you want to be a lawyer?" And I must say, my first choice would be to be in medicine. But human rights and law on a whole, you know, speaking out for what you believe in, that's something I'm very passionate about. And I'm here to say, as a youth in Trinidad and Tobago, not enough is being done to defend human rights. As long as we have people out there with domestic violence in homes and children, you know, being mistreated of any sort, in any form or fashion, not enough is being done. So I, as a youth from Naparima Girls High School, would like to commend the Faculty of Law, commend all those responsible for this program, for this competition, saying that it was a very thoughtful initiative. That is certainly a step in the right direction.
And you sound very passionate about it, as you say. And as somebody who was part of the organizing of this initiative, listening to her speak, you must be proud of this accomplishment.
I'm very proud, and she's among others who are as excellent as she is. I mean, we're just getting a snippet of her natural advocacy inclinations.
Yeah.
These students were grilled by judges, and they stood their own. And I found that they even thought better when they were on their feet. So they were asked questions that sometimes I even thought, oh my goodness, why are you asking the students those hard questions? But the students were able to think about it using a common sense approach and answer. They were able to very quickly assimilate the proper ways to address the court. They didn't even slip once. They really were very impressive. So much so I remember that at the end, one of our third-year students went up to one of our finalists, another young man called Dylan Kaulisa, who was on the other team at the final round, and told him that he inspired him. The students were really that good.
Yeah,
it was really a great experience.
Just listening to Ms. Maharaj speak, you think that there was some fierce battle?
Definitely was. Definitely was a battle to the very end.
Who did you all go up against in the final?
We went up against Hillview College. That was Dylan Kavlasa and Satish Singh.
And who was your teammate?
Nirvana Maharaj.
Are you related?
No, I've actually received that question too many times.
No, but I have to always say congratulations to the South because I am from that side. Hillview, thanks for taking the backseat this time. I'm hoping here next time. But yeah, this is an interesting initiative. And she wants to be a doctor, but I'm listening to her, and sometimes when she's speaking, I'm feeling intimidated because she has this powerful voice that can throw anybody off.
Yeah.
And what is the main aim, though?
Well, the aim is to make everyone more aware of human rights issues. And it's really also to train. So we're about training the trainers. So we want to discover the potential out there. Also, we want to be able to reach young people when they're still young, to make them knowledgeable about human rights issues, to invoke their conscience, to make them passionate and care. Because the issue is really human rights violations. And we know about the traumas that our children face in Trinidad and Tobago. And lots of attorneys, they go into practice wanting to become very wealthy alone. And nothing is wrong with becoming wealthy. But we want to invoke their public conscience. We want to make them care deeply. And we think that this is the best time to reach them.
And Ms. Maraj, this is the best time, according to Ms. France, to reach the young people. Do you think at the school level we're doing enough?
Like I said before, enough, it would never actually be enough until the problem is completely eradicated. However, initiatives like this do show that we are taking a stance and that we are taking, we are making the effort, the step in the right direction. So if more competitions could be like this, if more schools get involved, if more children, if more youths could know about these programs and these competitions, learn their laws, because as part of this competition I had to learn the different treaties that Trinidad signed on to, the constitution, all of that. It also helps to build the holistic individual. I think that this is integral in the Trinidadian youth.
What was your one takeaway, other than what you just mentioned, from this competition?
It actually showed me, well, one of my many takeaways, because this competition was very beneficial to me in many ways, was that in advocacy, you have to be firm in what you believe in. And in a society like the one we find ourselves in today as a youth, when we look out in today's society, role models, unfortunately, are few and far between. So what we need to do is we need to find our ground. We need to find something that we are passionate about, that we believe in. And, we need to stand our ground despite the questions that may be thrown to us, like in the competition, like in the case of the competition by the judges. But in the case of life, society will throw questions at us, questioning our morals, questioning our beliefs. We as youths need to stand firmly, guarded with our culture and our intellect and, the positive influences of our parents. We need to stand and we need to face the future, positively.
Ms. Francis, one last question before we go. Will this competition take place again?
Well, we've been getting a lot of requests. We have to think about it and weigh our resources, but it seems that there are lots of forces in favor of it continuing.
And hopefully it does. Look at what we can accomplish if we do this. And I'm sure Ms. Maraj will be willing to work with you all moving forward to ensure that the goals are accomplished. Ms. Afia France, Lecturer, Faculty of Law, and Ms. Vrishni Maraj, Naprima Girls College, congratulations. And I would like to say thank you both for coming, making the journey to Port of Spain for you. Well, you're from right there, but thank you both for coming and joining us on Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago. This is Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago on CTV and Talk City 91.1 FM. We take a break and come back with more.